All right, we live, baby. We live podcast. Sorry for being late.
Yeah, we're a little late. We're a little late today.
Be late or never. Welcome to episode 2.
All right, folks. We back. It's been about a month and a half since we've been back at it. A lot of stuff did happen. We've seen a lot of stuff happen. We've got the 2026 through 2020 the district alignments. That's been something that we've been seeing. Some teams moving down division, some teams moving up. New district realignments. Some different stuff, the one-time transfer rule, some stuff trying to get approved. Football just went out the window. It is the only in the baseball season. Spring is coming up for a lot of teams. So it's slowly but surely making its way there. But we're in position. Um, we have a lot to talk about. We have a good bit to cover. We're gonna talk about our travel schedule breakdown for this year's season. We're gonna do district alignment. We're gonna talk about some of the teams in each division. We're gonna talk about where we be going. We're gonna answer some questions about some different stuff like that, and we'll get fan interaction. As our cameraman will guide us through whatever any questions they'll have or any takes they'll give us. Um, we're gonna hop into it. We'll hop right into it. We're gonna just get straight to it. And we're gonna basically talk about our first division in 3A. It's 3A District 9. They change a lot. It's not the same teams.
Thought it toughest district.
It probably is the
3A.
toughest district in 3A. We have Lutcher, who's went around like with 8-4 last season. Made it to the quarterfinals, lost out to the soon to be state champions in Iowa. And Lutcher was tough. It was something that we seen throughout the season. They develop over the season. Started there with a freshman quarterback. That's really tough to do, especially in Division 2 with the teams they had, the caliber they played. But they physically came along, and them going back down in 3A. But they'll be in 3A for the regular season, but in playoffs they'll be competing in Division 2 how they were the last several couple of years. Here we have St. Charles, who's the defending state champ of Division 2 Select. They lose a little bit. I heard on defense some pieces, but they gain back the quarterback once again. Another team that gain back the quarterback. And Landry LeBlanc, he's been really he's grown over the time over the course of the last year or two. He started out his first year, and SEC might have had one of the toughest years they had in a long time. But he's came about a way. And he started last year, and he really started, gaining his way through it. And SEC came and they got good and they got good in a hurry and fast. And they showed their tail last year and just being dominant. And they won it against Lunch. They won 20-3 against a district opponent. They'll be in the district this year. They sad loss on our next district opponents, which is team that made it to the semifinals in St. James. That's 3 River Parish teams in one district, folks. 3 teams in one district. And all those teams had a good run last year. They'll all face each other this year, which games we'll be going to. St. James has been after the last 3 to 4 seasons. St. James was a semifinalist last year. The year before, there was a state championship.
We have 8 teams for the River Parish. And
Yeah,
we got
3 in
3
one
in
district.
one district and 3 in another.
District, and it's something it's hard to be. And that this, in my opinion, I feel this would be probably similar about the top 3. These 3 teams would be in the top 3. Lutcher, SEC, St. James is competitive, it's tough, is what River Parish football is about. St. James, they calling back. Is this St. James? You think it's St. James here? You think it's St. James here?
This year?
Yeah. They're in a tough district.
Sterling. That's all I have. Sterlington is tough already. Yeah.
Sterlington is a tough area.
If Sterling's on the other side of the bracket, they would be in the dome.
That's a good take on it. St. James has they have a good coach over there. Coach Diggs has done a great job of developing a program. Even before he came, Robert Valdez came through there and different guys that have and Coach Dwayne James who's at the helm of Lutcher. They've done great jobs of taking St. James program and just lifting it to a higher standard. And for them, their phrase is the standard is the standard. They've ransacked. It's been hard for them. They've lost games literally at the finish line. And last year ran into big news, hard run on football, Sterlington football team who just took it to him. And St. James said they were responsible on defense. But that's another team. And then you got Berwick, you got Patterson, who some value teams, some teams that don't have much of a thing, but if they get some things clicking for them, then who knows what they can turn into. And then you got a team that I feel is scary, which is the 14 that I think will cause hell is Vanderbilt Cali. Vanderbilt Cali is a team who going down there, it's a war zone. Their fans bring energy, their commentators loud. They bring enthusiasm. It's not repaired, but
Very disciplined.
they're very disciplined, well coached team, and they're really good on defense. They take pride in making big plays and they play a lot of energy. I think they'll give our three repair teams a little bit of some.
I think one of them repair team will win though.
Yeah, I think. You never know. I think we might be down a three-way split tie, or we might be down to having a co-champ. Because I think if you look at it, they have three repair teams in one district. It won't be easy for any of these teams. For Lutcher, they have SEC St. James and Vanderbilt, and they have them. Lutcher having back-to-back weeks. Lutcher plays, I think, weeks 7, 8, 9. 7 they play St. James, like 8, 9 Vanderbilt SEC. So Lutcher will have probably the most toughest backstretch of the district, and they got St. James and schools like that. That's a close, but 3 District 9. I like that district. We're gonna get into more questions about that district as we go along. That's some stuff I don't like that they did to it, that I felt it's too far at times, but they'll come along. We got one in District 10, who I feel this district has way too many teams.
I think it's a tough 1A district.
It is a tough one. It might be one of the toughest 1A districts. It's this was the last district is District 10, but it's Ascension Christian, who's a smaller school, but they made a little noise here a couple years ago. They have to
Christian to the cat.
Ascension Christian. Ascension Catholic is also in that district too. Ascension Catholic made it to the dome last year.
Right.
And was they fan helm of another team that's in their district, Riverside. Riverside was the state champions. You have a state champion of a state right up on the same district. On top of that, you have South Plaquemine in that district. South Plaquemine is a team. Didn't they win it in 24? I think they was in the dome in 24.
Early 2000 South Plaquemine team.
Yeah, that's when they had the hurricane stuff. I think 2000s they won like 3 in a row. They wreaked havoc down there, and they just was on a run. And then
And West St. John.
people don't talk about them enough, but I'm gonna talk about them. West St. John. West St. John made it last year the regional, made it to the second round. And they've been fighting. A lot of people haven't realized. I think 2024, they played Generate. They lost, I think, 9-6 against number 5 team and won it on a regular. I think that's before they did. Oh, no, it was a switch. But no, it was Division, I think Division 4 nonsense. West St. John has been clawing back. Coach Thomas has led them. It's been tough. Winning football is hard because there's your powerhouses who they're big on that level and they've dominated for the past 20 to 25 years. West St. John, I believe in what they're doing. They'll be fine. I think this year's the year to look out for them again.
I think they're gonna be
I think they're the right district that's gonna set them up well for the playoffs. They won't see Riverside, they won't see Ascension Catholic, they won't see Ascension Christian, they won't see South Plaquemine. They won't see those teams in anything. Those teams will help West St. John get ready for the playoffs. I think West St. John will get a good seat. They have a tough schedule. I think they have the state champion and the state run up on their schedule. I think they have Ascension Catholic. I don't think they have them at home. I know they have Riverside. Riverside at home in the 10. But still, though, you play those teams, and that's your district. But they have Crescent City Christian, who was small school, haven't made much noise. They got South Plaquemine, so about 5 of these schools out of all these, 2 of them, just 2 of them parishes to this one too. It's tough. And then we moved to 5A District 7. Before I get to 5A District 7, I got a question for you. Do you think that 5A, Classification 5 is still the most competitive classification in the state of Louisiana in football?
Yeah, and
you believe that it's hands down is the best in the thing? I disagree with that. What? Disagree with that. I felt if you look at over the years, there's been teams, there still is teams. You have schools like in the car, who is arguably the best team in the state of Louisiana for what they've done.
That's 5A.
That's 5A.
I'm telling you.
You have St.
That's St. Aug.
St. Aug.
That's St. Aug.
Yeah, yeah, but in Robert Valdez, but he almost made history. He was one of the only coach to lead. He had West St. John, who led them there. They won. He led St. James, they were undefeated season, 15 of them. St. James won in 2019 on the
You know, Carl played, and they did.
yeah. They have the Catholic League. The Catholic League, Warren Eastons, the Romans, the Jesuits, the Curtis of the world. But Carl wasn't so long ago in 4A.
That's
Warren Easton wasn't so long competing in 4A. And yeah, it's still a toughest, but I hate to say it,
What you say?
but half the schools are over there recruit.
Right. Well, what you
So,
say?
but if you look at it, now that we're recruited, you don't have as many schools in 4A, schools in 1A,
Well, what you
or
say?
schools in 3A. I feel like 4A is the toughest bracket in football.
4A?
4A has it the toughest. You look at 4A, I'm going to just list the teams that's in 4A this year for you and what they have done and what they've developed. And these schools are not just good in football. These schools are good beyond football. They're good in baseball, they're good in softball, they're good in basketball. They've been consistent. Look at schools like on the Division II select side, Archbishop Shaw, who's been on SEC schedule, who's been on their radar, a top team. Edie White, who is hell. They give you hell every single time you play. You go down there, you're in a ball game. They come in, they give you a ball game. Vanderbilt County, who's in division, who's in 3. They're not in 3 for a reason. They're gonna probably be in 3, but they're gonna probably compete in Division 2 to select for playoffs. SEC, who's probably a top 10 team in our state. You look at Division 2 non-select, I'm gonna give you a bunch of schools. Lutcher, quarterfinalist. Neville, who's moving down because of enrollment, but Neville is competitive. It's been rough because look at 5A. 5A is overloaded. People are gonna say 5A because the classification is overloaded, folks. The classification has over probably around 72 schools that's in that. You have the biggest schools, of course, the biggest schools people think the best schools, but you got some of these 40 teams like the North Dakotas of the world that can go probably compete. Yeah, they might have lost to Iowa in a dome, but that was almost a basketball school. North Dakota, who's been a runner-up, all these Cecilia, who developed one of the fastest players, some of the fastest players in the state. You got Franklin Parish, who has guys going. They went to LSU, and Zaren LSU played quarterback, and guys who's going play ball at University of Houston, who Lutcher beat 42-41 in a game that was probably a nail biter on an extra point. You got schools like that. Yeah.
That's 5.
That's fine, man. But
You see that Zachary with the state championship with
like what Opelousas did in 2023. Look at they showing forward. The dude probably was the size of Derrick Henry in high school. You look at Iowa, what they did. You look at Lutcher's game plan against Franklin Parish. Those teams might not all, some of them, I don't know, might recruit. Some of them might not recruit. But the heart those teams play with, 40 minutes of football goes beyond being the toughest classification in the state. 5A, they have the teams, but they don't play with the character these teams play with. Half these schools, they don't recruit. If they do recruit, it's minimal players. Half the other schools, they might recruit more of a bigger roster, but the toughest they play with, the toughness, the games you go to, every Division 2, most of the playoff games I've been a part of, I was a part of much of 4 years. It was toughness. You went, the energy was there, the crowd was there. Now I'm gonna lie, the St. Aug and the Car is the biggest crowd the Dome had ever had. But look at these games they've had. There's great coaches, there's great players on those levels. Nothing to take away from 5A. 4A has the definition of football in it, written all over it. It's true, hard nosed. You gotta get hot at the right time. 2022, Lutcher got hot at the right time. 2023, it was Opelousas. 2024, Cecilia. 25, Iowa. Those schools got hot at the right time. If you look at Division 1, schools like Carr, you know that there was a semifinal team already. We knew that in our head, they're probably going to be a semifinal team. We didn't think saying, oh, they did because they have a great coach that have led in a River Parish on a smaller level over 3. You look at these different schools, these schools have done it. And yes, 5A, one of the toughest classifications. It's up there. It's definitely top 2. But this second to me. First, I have to put up 4A. 4A has put up through some teams the heart they play with. And if we're repair schools already, to me, the repairs play with the biggest heart in the state. We don't have the biggest athletes, we don't have the toughest athletes. We have speed. I think we have a lot of speed in repairs, but the biggest thing we play with is heart. And I think that's what takes over the game into its entirety. But I go into talking about 5A, Division District 7. I feel like this district don't change. I feel like when they go to the computer, they just click submit, say it's saying.
Be like that.
Central Lafourche,
Be like that to love it.
who's a school, they come along when they come along. They're a team that, I don't know much about. It ain't about you. The you teams always sneaky. I always say that because you always have a couple schools down
You gotta watch Terrebonne. Terrebonne and Thibodeau.
That's the toughest thing.
Thibodeau hot. North Sea got him going, man. For North Sea first year. Let's see what he did.
And then you got Destrehan in there. Another district with 3 teams. Destrehan, home, and Lee St. John. Destrehan always at the helm. To me, they always lead this district, or at least be top 2, top 3, because of the character they play with. They play big boy football. They size intimidates.
Probably had the best running back in the state.
Yeah, Malachi Dabney. We seen it. Game in and game out. He probably would be our repairs Friday Night Lights. Play the week sometime next season. He just played football, and he just like a machine to bring him down. He don't go down. He don't go down easy. A tough running back. He was led to him with Scott coaches Dexter-Hand, and then guy who graduated Jackson Fields, and guy like Philip Wright and Jabbar Mann came for who's some of the fastest players in our state on the track level. Those guys definitely made a helmet at Dexter-Hand while they were there. East St. John, who's continuing to build. I hope East St. John personally is over the hump that they've been pushing. It's been a rough 3-4 seasons for them, but we're not gonna count out in 2022 when they were winning against the Little Parish School in Destrehan, and they were there. There was quarterfinal game against Destrehan.
It's gonna be a fight for the week. It's gonna be a week 1.
Yeah,
at East St. John. Yeah, St. James.
And then East St. John, I think East St. John, I think he'll be ready. I think they have a lot to prove, but it's good to be an underdog in some situations because that be the teams that later on the season you're gonna look at and you're gonna be like, that team has improved to what they've become. You got HL Bourgeois, another Bayou team. You got Terrebonne, who's scary. They had a guy last year. I think they call him like a bear.
Wait a minute. Wait.
I forgot where he went. He's going to play collegiate ball somewhere. I forgot the college he's going to. I think Quincy Adams.
Oh, he was the Adam.
He runs track. He does long distance too. He ran, I think last year. I think I seen him about one of the week. He ran like a 100 or something like that. He did something like that. I know, and they got Thibodeau, a guy who's a former parish native. He played football for St. James. He led St. James to the Dome. He's done it before, and he's looking like he can get Thibodeau there. Lowell Narcisse, Coach Narcisse led Thibodeau in year 1, was probably one of the best year 1 implements I've seen ever.
And he was at a year before that. He was at Simpson Catholic and brought Simpson
semis. So he's a year 1 guy. He brings them in there. He builds them up quick, and he develops. And it's hard to be at 5A. In the district, they're in the district.
That's harder different.
In the district with Terrebonne, Destrehan, Hallville, East St. John's, teams that might look comprising to them, but they step to the plate. They ready for the challenge. They're ready. Division 1 is hard. It's hard to lose football. I feel like the select side is more competitive than non-select side because the select side is the Carter, the Rumblers, the schools that just they might run an option offense or veer or old school football, power eye, but they have developed strategies to win. That's what our district alignment is this year for all area parish teams. Again, we have 3 in District 9, bunch of St. James SEC. 1 in District 10 is Riverside, West St. John, and 5 in District 7 is Destrehan, East St. John, Highlandville. We have literally our district. Our team, we have 2 districts that has 3 teams in each. Can't wait to see how that fares out. That's gonna be tough. I think for the most part, I'm looking forward to some of these district games. Some of these games, I think, probably are gonna get statewide attention because of the thing we're gonna play it. So we're gonna move on to our RPFNL travel schedule for 2026.
We're gonna have it posted on our Facebook.
We're gonna post it on all our pages. far as the scrimmage right now, because of we don't know where everybody's gonna play and when they're gonna play, the time they're gonna play, that's gonna be to be announced. That should be the week of like August 20th, like the 15th through the 20th through that week there, like the second weekend in August. You don't know what it would be.
Got the Jamboree stuff.
Yeah,
Thursday, Friday.
I think we're gonna be tired. We're gonna about to cover probably about 4 games probably the span of 2 days.
Yeah.
So week 0, what I'm gonna call it, the is the SEC. Is that SEC? Is that St. Charles?
Yeah.
St. Charles. James.
Yeah.
St. Charles would be St. Charles, be St. John, and
I don't know who else.
it's,
Don't know that, but I know the.
it'll be August 27th. St. Charles Jam. We'll be covering St. Charles. That'll be that I think that Thursday, and then on a Friday, which I call it the big dogs compete. August 28th is the Death Strand Jam. You got Death Strand Lunch, you got St. James and Houndville last year. It's a dog fight. At the dog. It was at the dog yard. And Houndville and St. James game didn't disappoint. So I think those 4 games, we gotta get the August 27th one. But the August 28th games, but Jamboree is always tough. It's River Parish football.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't all want to come out and watch it? So again, August 28th, Death Strand Jamboree. August 27th, ACC Jamboree. Week 1, East St. John and St. James.
St. James at East St. James.
Look like that's September 4th. Classic game been playing for years. St. James has been at the helm the last couple of years. Let's see what East St. John got. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think East St. John will be St. John run for their money. East St. John, brick by brick, they're gonna be scared. You don't know what they're gonna do next. That's gonna be the benefit. And then week 2 SEC at Houndville.
That's gonna be a good.
That's gonna be a game.
And one thing about the SEC, they gonna play big ball.
That was one of the last games we put on here and looked at because we was putting our schedule together and was like, okay, we're gonna go week 2. And you see it is at Houndville, 5A, but St. Charles is the defending state champ. Houndville's that on the coach point at Houndville, new coach, I think second or third year. Houndville always a mystery because you don't know what they're gonna do next. They are kind of on their own island over there by Death Strand to play football. And then a little distinguished game, week 3, West Jefferson at Death Strand. Of course we're gonna talk about Death Strand, who's their powerhouse. Could be one of the games that could be all right. A domination, it could be a good game. We don't know too much about West Jefferson, Smooth Metairie. And then week 4 is arguably could be one of the best games on the schedule. Houndville at Lutcher. Houndville at Lutcher at the dog yard. The last time those two played, it was at Houndville. Lutcher snuck past Houndville 13-6. I think that was in 2023. And the year before that, on the lunch, it was 35-13. So I expect Houndville and Lutcher to clash. That's a good mid-season game. It kind of gonna set Lutcher up, I think, for what's gonna come later. As they're getting deep into their schedules, I feel Lutcher has one of the toughest schedules. And then week 5, which I think will be my favorite one.
Yeah, the
it's
big
even
one that came coming back.
It's St. Charles at Riverside. If I could skip all 4, about 6 of these games we're gonna go to. Actually, I wouldn't go to St. John and St. James. St. Charles and Riverside, mark it on your calendar. Be there. I don't know the date yet, but it's week 5.
You will have people there.
You need to be there at Riverside. Not Thomas Movie Stadium. That's St. Charles. Oh, it's Mickey
Russell.
Mickey Russell. Be there or hear about it. 7 o'clock, week 5. Let's see, 4, 11, 18, 25. It should be like October 2nd. Be there, and it's gonna be a good game.
It'll be 2 of the best coaches in the state.
Defending state champions will be competing. One will be bringing a quarterback back. The other one will be replacing Brock Bourgeois. That'll be a good game. St. Charles Riverside. He has a personal opinion on the game. I have a personal opinion on the game. He thinks that Riverside might have the upper hand against St. Charles, which is shocking. Why do you think the Riverside has upper hand against a big dog in St. Charles?
I think that because Riverside got a lot of coming back. Riverside, I don't think lost a couple seasons. St. Charles, I ain't saying it's gonna be a big blowout,
Yeah.
but Riverside got just about everybody coming back, especially on offense. Look at down. Chris Bagnett.
Yeah.
That's the star player.
I look at it like that. They might have people coming back. Kudos Riverside. Riverside,
but it's gonna be a fight.
they're one of the best coaches, arguably the young coach.
Wayne and Lee gonna have them ready. Both teams is gonna be a good game.
They're gonna be ready. But we know this, you know this, well, I know this. St. Charles has players behind players. They coach this.
I don't know it, but
they coach this.
Have them ready.
They're gonna be ready. And I think it's gonna be a good game. I think who knows? But at the end of the day, I'll make my prediction for that when the season comes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be putting that. I'll do the helmet pick, put the helmet on who I pick.
But St. Charles,
right before the game starts.
St. Charles is arguably, probably one of the best repairs teams on top. St. Charles, when you come play, I'm gonna say this from the side. They're good on 180, but you're gonna play big boy football. You're going up against a 418 who's plays schools like Lutcher, and Lutchers have to readjust, readapt, and regrow. They face schools like Shaw, and they've made them think on their heels. This is a different ball game. This is different teams. This is different people. Right? They're coming play big boy football. The thing that's gonna make this game close, I feel, they haven't played so long. So to get it back to play, the crowd is gonna be there, the energy is gonna be there, and it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be hard nosed. Whoever gonna show up whoever gonna show up, get over the emotions, play the game, and restart around. Then
y'all better get there early, because they're gonna have people.
They got people there. And in week 6, last year the game was won in like the last play. St. Charles and St. James. It was one on like the craziest play. I'm gonna post that play though.
We're gonna be at back.
That back-to-back St. Charles game, but you gotta be there for St. Charles and St. James. It's at St. James again.
Yeah.
That game last year is probably gonna be similar style. Last play. Like a shootout. And then my favorite rivalry out of all of them is my school. I don't care. I'm gonna be there. You better be in the parking lot at any year. St. James at Lutcher, arguably the best rivalry in the parish. East Bank versus the West Bank. 2 of arguably the best quarterbacks in the parish. One a sophomore, one should be a junior or senior, and could be a junior. Jawan Jackson and Timmy Charles. St. James at Lutcher at the Dog Yard. They haven't played since 2021. After
the last score,
41-19, Lutcher wrecked through havoc after what had happened. We're not going to discuss that. But just know.
Stole the Bulldog.
Yeah. The other team stole the Bulldog. Lutcher took offense to it, and Lutcher wrecked havoc.
And Lutcher gave it all to him.
And this game here, I wish it had been played earlier. Because our senior class, we were a 4-year gap in between St. James and Lutcher playing. This rivalry is more than a rivalry. It's bigger than football. It's bigger than East versus West Bank. It's bigger than the parish. It's culture. It's tradition. It's the standard. It's what's been in depth. It's in the blood. It's in the genes. These 2 teams on week 7 is going to be a bloodbath. It's always a game, and you never know how it's gonna go. You don't know who that is gonna be. The question is, will Lutcher be able to overcome what happened after losing people from last year? Lutcher lost a lot of experienced veteran guys. A couple, I think,
on defense. Sure.
Yeah, especially on defense, some lead tacklers on defense, and not just starters. A lot of people that in depth into the program and led the program and helped at the helm. Lutcher gonna be fine. That'll be my alma mater soon. Lutcher's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be a good game. St. James, for St. James, they feel they might can come in, they might can do it. St. James is a tough team. They played good by a good coach. They have to be seen out their defense struggles. But the question is, if the St. James face their defense, will St. James go undefeated? That could be something that St. James could be scary at too. Because their defense, we know about the offense. The offense is really high power. But they struggled. They showed against Sterlington late in the semifinals.
Is that shootout?
Shootout game with that too. I think, yeah, it was they about to score 6 points. St. James scored like 40 points, I think. So yeah, stuff like that too. But you might want to get there. That's another game. You got to get there early. At least 3 weeks in a row, I'm telling you, got to get there early. Week 5, SEC Riverside. Week 6, St. Charles, St. James. Week 7, St. James, Lutcher. Get there early. It's at Lutcher, at St. James, at Riverside. And in week 8, it's a different one.
We had to change them because really want to cover the big rival, but since they got Lutcher and St. James playing back, we got to make that one.
And then
If we want to get Desperate at Hornville, but that's the same week.
the Lutcher and St. James.
We go on a Desperate twice.
So we're gonna go back to Destrehan and revive against Terrebonne. I wish they're running back to Terrebonne, stupid. Terrebonne at Destrehan. That'll be if the running back from Terrebonne still there, there'll be a running back battle.
Out the state.
Out the state. That'll be a running back battle. But he's not there, but it's still Terrebonne. Terrebonne will be tough. They'll be competitive. Destrehan need to be big 5. It's football. Then we go to one. It's hard to say this game and just keep saying it over and over and over again. I'm tired of saying it, but it's a game. It's one of the toughest games in the state, and people don't understand. This game is the last play. Like it's the last play. It don't matter what happened. The last play of the game decides the game. Like last year, I felt SEC. They came to play football. They played St. Charles County football 40 minutes. But St. Charles losing guys. They both have returning quarterbacks. Lutcher at SEC again. Week 9, though. Remember, it's not week 2. Lutcher has gone. The difference for these two is Lutcher gonna be there went through St. James, Hahnville, the Destrahans of the world. They've been and went through who else? Vanderbilt. Lutcher's gonna be and went through about half the schedule of St. James before they even get to St. Charles. Could that be the difference factor for having Lutcher even more ready for St. Charles?
I think it definitely will help.
And the thing is, will St. Charles be more scary than what it was last year? That's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a good battle. 2 of great coaches. Those 2, Coach Wayne Stein and Coach Dwayne Jenkins, have led both programs at the helm. Coach Jay's been doing he's going into his 11th season in coaching. Right over a little 100 wins he accomplished over this past season. Does a great job of leading Lutcher into what they've done. He's helped develop a lot of people over the years. He does a great job in building a standard. He always told us to continue to be the best version of ourselves every day. And I think that those words help gear toward what Lutcher's done today. He's helped continue to develop the legacy after one of the greatest and probably one of the best coaches to lead Lutcher, Coach Tim Letellier, when he retired after 2015. Coach Jenkins came back on this side of the river. He's the only coach in prep classic history to lead 2 teams in the same parish to the state championship game. That's in the back-to-back years. That's like crazy to think about, dude.
Yep.
And in week 10, y'all might have thought we forgot about him. We didn't forget about him. We got Riverside and West St. John. We'll be West St. John senior night. We'll be at West St. John for week 10. West St. John, who's continuing to build.
Ram.
Yeah, Coach Jerome told us that's gonna have them ready. I think by week 10, West St. John will be furnished. They're gonna be went through all those teams by the time they get to Riverside. So I think people are gonna look at the game. Riverside gonna come in and they're gonna.
That became a rivalry ever since they started playing in the early 2002.
Yeah, a lot of people might look at it, but West St. John used to take it to Riverside in Riverside. West St. John has a lot of history. They're trying to
They had a lot of players.
fight the champions. Yeah, West St. John is not a team to be kept a secret, and they're gonna look at Riverside. They're gonna say Riverside's gonna come in here and it's gonna be a blowout.
They're not gonna let it do it.
That's not gonna happen. Let me tell you why it's not gonna happen.
Not
West St. John is gonna be went through a Sampson Catholic. They're gonna be went through a Sampson Christian. They're gonna be went through half the teams that's gonna get them ready for Riverside. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Riverside has been. They're gonna be went through some schools too. That's gonna be a good season for that battle. I think West St. John is gonna have a lot to prove this season. Is it their time? Are they gonna get back at the helm? Is it West St. John time to take over one like they once did? We'll see. So that's our schedule, and we'll take playoffs week by week. We put on the best matchups, whoever's at home, the seeding. Miles' opinion, probably have these teams we covering, or we covering all of the pair sheets, but more than half probably will have a bye week. Not because of that's just because of I think that's what's gonna probably be the schedule they have and the toughness they play at. They probably all be in decent shape. We're moving to some questions. We got questions.
Anybody
ask questions?
No questions.
No questions
yet. If y'all got questions, y'all can ask. We can answer.
I'm gonna move into some questions.
I got one.
You got one? Yeah.
Who you gonna think? Who you think? I don't know. The 18 that's gonna be improved, the most improved team.
The most improved team. I don't want to prepare you
improved this year. Let's see.
I feel all 8 are different. They all 8 have.
What I'm saying the
most improvements.
Improvement, like
they all are different. So it's hard to
do a lot better this year than they did last year.
I think watch out for West St. John. I think they don't get enough in 1A because a lot of people look at 1A football. 1A football is tough. They're like school like All-Star Christian been winning for years. Schools like that.
That go 4 ways.
West St. John. I think last year went like 6-4. Previous years they were 2-8, like 3-7. I think they improved the most. They have the most improved. I feel out of all of them.
Yeah.
East St. John too. I feel East St. John. They are probably my second team that I'll be saying I'll be up there to go do it. Those 2 teams for sure can interlock, and I'll be thinking for sure that they'll probably improve the most. I think West St. John will improve the most. Who do you think improve the most this year?
I think them, East St. John, just about everybody else is kind of good, but I think I never did look at all of the roster who's coming back for Hornbill, but Hornbill impressed me at the gym.
Yeah, early in the season, Hornbill, they were competing with St. James.
I thought it'd been a better game, and I watched the Hornbill Depth game on TV.
Your game.
Thought it'd be a better game, but it kind of got out of hand after.
Yeah, later in the game.
Malcolm Devin had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's good for them, bro. He did it like that. So when you look at, we talked about it in the last podcast. We covered it. Neville is moving down. Neville moving down to 40. Do you think that impacts our repairs team for
Let's just in that division.
Yeah, but still, though, that impacts 40 football.
Yeah, it will.
Add Neville to it. Do you think that impact?
You want my opinion about the whole situation?
Yeah.
I think you leave Neville 2 years in that, and they go to the Dome back-to-back years and win it. They got to get out of that.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think
they got to get out if that happens.
Yeah, I understand.
That's just like saying put Destrehan in 1A.
Yeah, but
there's no competition for him.
So you trying to say that there's no competition in the Class 40?
Yeah, double.
But if you look at it over the past couple of years, you don't think the Franklin Parish team actually could compete with Neville?
Compete, but I don't think it would beat them. Neville's serious.
Neville's serious, but if that's the case, no harm to Neville.
They want to stay champion handed though. That's what.
But the thing is, 4A is what it's been in Division 2, non-select. 4 years I've been seeing this. Is you getting hot at the right time. It's not about what you've done from week 1 to week 10. It's what you're gonna do to put it on the line for 4 weeks to get to the Mercedes or the Caesar Superdome.
Let's put it on here. What y'all think about that?
What y'all think
Y'all
about?
believe y'all think that Devil should be in Division 2 in the
It should
playoff?
be
In
Division
the playoff.
Neville should be competing in
Let me
5A
know
football.
some comment on that about that.
Neville should be competing in 5A football. Period.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be. It shouldn't be nowhere near that. Even if they all have the enrollment, they should play. They should class up. Neville has
Been playing for Curtis on that. They put Curtis in up and Evander. Evander was like a 2 or 3 age.
That's a different school though. Evangel owned the 2000 with Coach Dennis Dunn, who's at North Dakota now. Same thing with Neville. Neville was competing with Carr a couple years ago. So it's not that Neville can't do it. Neville just ran into some walls that football they got tougher.
Yeah.
The game they got tougher.
You can't get better.
The coaches have got deep in the game plans, the game, the technique, everything has got different. Assistant coaches, people have stepped up. The game got tougher, the stakes got tougher, everything's on the line, and it's been football. It's been will you get hot at the right time when it matters, and what you do when it comes.
Another question. And you think the Devil was in 4A last year?
I would want to say
I was going to say
Floyd was tough last year, man.
they won the one.
Now I'm not gonna lie about this.
I ain't saying I got nothing. I'm not talking about no team. I'm just saying that's how I never.
Look at it like this. You might look at it like that. Iowa got at the right time. Me, in my opinion, I thought Iowa was gonna lose to Lutcher. Undoubtedly, Lutcher did what people didn't expect them to do. I'm gonna close my book on this. Lutcher, I'm gonna break it down for you. People expected Lutcher to fail miserably because of the season he had. The first 2 weeks of the season, they lost to Slidell. They lost to St. Charles. They scored 25 points in like 2 weeks. They scored 25 points in 2 weeks. I was part of the team. Scored 25 points in 2 weeks. Week 3, we won a walk-off against Liberty Magnet. Right from there, we came back the next week, we lost to Vanderbilt. Lutcher could have hung. We could have sat there, pouted, hung our head, and could have quit it. We could have hung it up right after Vanderbilt. But we kept going. No disrespect to Neville. I don't care Neville's moving down. Lutcher sat there, got in. We went against probably arguably one of the best teams in the state that far as people going to play collegiate football. Both ways. They quarterback. He going to play quarterback at LSU. The speed he had. We could have tucked our tail, ran between our legs, and ran somewhere. It don't matter what Neville, I hate to say it, it don't matter what Neville going to bring to the table because at the end of the day, Lutcher's going to come, they're going to play with heart, they're going to play with challenge. The standard is the standard at the end of the day. It don't matter what you show up with. You can come, a name means something. Whatever you wear on that chest, that means everything. But what you going to do with 48 minutes in 2026 football season, we're only going to determine. Neville going to come in there and they're going to get a shot from you, hit right at him. Because it ain't going to be easy.
Oh, so
4A is not the same 4A it was 8 years ago when they was in it. It's changed. Dude, these teams have gotten better. Look at me. These teams have gotten better. Look what Opelousas did. Look what Lutcher did in 2022. Look what Iowa did. Running the football works. That's what these teams have done to be successful. If Neville feels that they can come in here and then Division 2 and feel like they can come in here and wreck ball, so be it. Let them come do it. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to take a fall class for you. They got to come stop it first. You can talk all big talk, enrollment, whatever you do, or we're going to kick off. You got to stop it. Same thing in school. You can say that you're going to beat so-and-so. You got to stop it. You got to stop it. They got to go through teams. They're not going to be handed the trophy. At the end of the day, they got to get through the schools of Lutcher. They got to get through the thing. If that's the case, how about they go compete in Division 2 select? If that's what they feel they can go do it. Go against SEC. I guarantee when they start stuff against them.
all right, as you see, we got our shirts. We got our shirt in dry. It's all dry fit, short sleeve. Want one? You can go on. You can message me on Facebook. My name, Joey LeBuck. $30. I got every size from small to 3X.
This is the front of the shirt. Actually, we got it flipped. This is the front. It has our logo on there, and on the back is all the Aero Repairs teams with the helmet logos. Pretty neat design. And then on the Aero Repairs teams that we have the Aero Repairs area. I got more questions because I'm not done. Then y'all ain't got me started.
Come on with it.
We got any questions on there?
No question.
No questions. No questions. All right.
Got a lot of viewers, people watching.